When Multiverse said, "Don't you all see? This is exactly what the elite multiverses want. They want to divide us. Our multiverse ensemble is founded on class tension and class dynamics, and universe type and class are connected. There are poor multiverse type 2 galaxies and poor multiverse type 3 galaxies. And rather than rebel against the powers that be that maintain their suppression, they fight each other. What we really need to do is fight the 1% of the universe, which is baryonic matter, while the other 99% of the universe is dark energy and dark matter, and create a more fair and equal system for all. This is exactly what the elites want, us fighting so they can maintain their wealth." "Communist bastard," said the Type 2 universe. Brain Universe 4444 turned off the YouTube channel. He had enough. He thought about his elementary school basketball coach when he was in elementary school, when Brain Universe 4444 won an AU national championship and was considered by many to be the best player in the multiverse. Brain Universe 4444's basketball coach was a Type 3 universe who was good enough to play in the NBA, and Universe 4444 was pretty much best friends with him. His basketball coach would play one-on-one with him all the time. They listened to rap music together. Sadly, Universe 4444's father universe got Universe 4444 the shoot-away machine in the 7th grade, and it destroyed his shot in game. But this whole situation was sad. What Universe 4444 really wanted was DVDs or videos of when he was considered the best player in the nation. But he was too afraid to ask other universes because he was too afraid they would say no. Universe 4444 thought to himself, first get the quadrant model world famous and get power and respect, and then ask people. Then they will be more likely to give them to you. Universe 4444 didn't want any universes to tell him, no, I don't have them, and lie, because then he thought then they would never give him the DVDs, even if they have them, because they wouldn't want to be seen as liars. But Universe 4444 thought if he got power and respect first, they would be less likely to say no if they have them. Universe 4444 had been obsessing over this since his freshman year of college. It's a magnificent obsession that never leaves Universe 4444's mind. He dreams about it. He wakes up and it's his first thought. He studies the quadrant model, and as he studies, he thinks about how much he would like videos and DVDs to see how he moved when he was unconscious and considered the best shooter in the nation. There are people he wants to ask, but he's too scared to for fear they will say no. He thinks he needs to get power first. String theorists like Leonard Susskind have suggested that when the largest entity in the universe, universe brain membrane, is analyzed and manipulated, it can paradoxically prevent analysis and become the smallest entity in the universe, a string, and vice versa. A string can become a universe membrane, preventing analysis. The entity oscillates between the two in order to evade detection and analysis. Susskind said, "It is almost like existence is trying to prevent us from analyzing it. It is spooky." A professor at MIT, Dr. Edward Witten, the discoverer of M-theory, was trying to observe membrane universe 4444 when suddenly brain universe 4444 transferred into a string, a vibrating string, the smallest entity in existence. In other words, it may seem rather bizarre, but the biggest thing in the cosmos is at the same time the smallest thing in the cosmos. Vibrating strings are the basis of string theory. There were thought to be 5 string theories, but Edward Witten showed that what was thought to be different string theories was just really the same string theory viewed from different perspectives. He called the combined string theories M-theory. There is debate about what the M stands for. Some say it is W from Witten backwards. Some say it is mystery. Who knows? It might be Merc Diesel. It is kind of like the parable of the men and the elephant. One man felt the trunk and said, "It's a stick." Another man felt the leg and said, "It's a tree trunk." Another man felt the tail and said, "It's a snake." Another man felt the stomach and said, "It's a boulder." But really, it was all one elephant. Brain Universe 4444, when being expected by Dr. Witten, suddenly transformed into an open and closed-oriented string of a D25 membrane. There are 4 types of bosonic strings. There are open and closed-oriented strings. There are open and closed unoriented strings. There are closed-oriented strings, and there are closed unoriented strings. It just so happened that Brain Universe 4444 transmuted it into a vibrating string that made up a quark, and that quark made up a proton, which was a proton within a carbon atom within a coronavirus. The coronavirus's name was COVID. He was hanging out in the intestines of a bat when suddenly a Chinese man bit into the bat. Fucking delicious, the Chinese man said in Mandarin. He licked his lips. "Compliments to the chef," he said. giving a thumbs up. Very, very good. His girlfriend giggled. His girlfriend giggled. She couldn't believe her boyfriend was eating bat soup again. The bat looked so scary, with his teeth showing and wings outstretched, but the Chinese man did not care. He devoured it. Of course, he was showing off a little for his girlfriend. He ripped off a piece of the bat and said, "Here, try it." "No, no, no," his girlfriend said. "Try it, you'll love it," the Chinese man demanded. "Okay." The Chinese woman submitted and took a bite. She bit into the part of the intestine where COVID was hanging out. Suddenly, COVID felt himself flung into the woman's mouth, and he struggled to maintain composure as the antibodies in the woman's saliva began attacking him. He fought them off one by one. "So good, yummy, yummy," the woman said as she chewed on the bat. "Told you you would like it," the Chinese man retorted. COVID made his way down the esophagus into the stomach. He faced the stomach acid, but the stomach acid was no use because COVID dipped and dodged it. He exited the cell walls of the stomach and made his way into the bloodstream of the woman. He immediately faced an onslaught of helper T cells. "Covida! Covida! Covo! Cova!" he yelled as he fought off the helper T cells. Before he had been swallowed by the woman, he had been with his wife and 2 children in the small intestines of the bat. He didn't know where they were, if he had lost them or not. The T-cell warriors attacked in masses and swarms. COVID did not know if he could hold them off for much longer, when suddenly his wife, Covida, stepped on the scene and gave an immune response B cell who had COVID in a chokehold a roundhouse kick to the face like Chuck Norris. Kova does not own a stove oven or a microwave because revenge is a bitch best served cold. "Daddy! Daddy! Mommy! No!" Kovo screamed as he saw his mom and dad being punched and kicked by a group of T killer cells. Kova's children had been eaten as well, and they made it through the stomach to the bloodstream. "Thank God they're okay," COVID thought to himself as he continued to kick and swing at the swarms of antibodies, killer T cells, and white blood cells. "The lymphocytes keep coming. I don't know if we can hold them off much longer," COVID screamed. "We got this, baby," said Covida. "These motherfuckers are no match for us." She punched a lymphocyte in the face and he fell on his back. She digged her foot into his neck and he choked to death. Kovo and Kova joined in the action with their parents. Kovo jumped on the back of a cytotoxic T cell and pulled back on his head, snapping his neck. We got a red code," a natural killer T cell said in his radio to alert his fellow soldiers. "Unknown antigen making its way to the kidneys. God damn it, Michael, I'm eating lunch," another natural killer T cell said on the other side of the radio. "It's just a cold virus. It's going to be a piece of cake. Can you at least wait until I'm done eating?" "This is not an ordinary cold virus, Joe," Michael, the killer T cell, said to Joe. "These guys are different. They are stronger and faster, and they seem to be master fighters. I saw the little girl just literally bite off a B cell's head and take a shit in his neck cavity." "What the hell was the human eating?" said Joe. "Bats?" "I believe so," said Michael. "God damn it," said Joe. "Calling all units. We have a code red." "Calling all units, we have a code red. This is not a drill, goddammit. We have a serious situation here." Suddenly, Michael found himself face to face with Kovo. Kovo came out of nowhere. "You're fast, aren't you?" said Michael. "You've never seen anyone like me," Kovo snarked, and they began exchanging blows. Joe came on the scene. Kova sprinted towards him and sprung in the air, delivering a kick to Joe's side. "Move, move, move!" yelled Joe. A unit of B cells came on the scene and surrounded Kova. "Freeze and stay where you are," the B-cell commander said through his bullhorn. "We will not kill you. We just want to ask you some questions. Just hand yourself over and things won't get ugly." "Bullshit," Kova said, and she started spraying poisonous toxins in all directions, vaporizing all of the B-cells around her. Meanwhile, Michael, the killer T-cell, was continuing his battle with Kovo. Kovo had found himself a worthy competitor. Michael, the killer T-cell, was an expert fighter, the chief of the lymphocytes, and he knew what he was facing, so he was going all out. His duty since birth, his sworn duty, was to protect the human at all costs, even the cost of his life, and he was going to give up his life to save her. Joe, the killer T-cell, was fighting Kova. Kova's toxins might have killed the B-cells, but Joe, the killer T-cell, had body armor on. Out of nowhere, though, as they were exchanging blows, Kova plunged her arm into Joe's stomach and ripped out his intestines. His legs began to shake and quiver, and they buckled. He collapsed to the floor, and he was dead. Kova took a bite out of his intestines and spit on his corpse. She looked all around her for her brother. Kovo! Kovo, where are you? Kovo was in the kidney battling Michael the killer T-cell. Michael was strong and he had been battling cold viruses his whole life. He knew all their tricks and moves and maneuvers. Sure, Kovo was different, stronger and faster and swifter and smarter, but what Kovo did not have was Michael's intense passion. Kovo was like what was in Michael the killer T-cell's territory, kind of like when the Americans fought the Vietnamese communists in Vietnam. The Americans were in the Vietnamese territory. They were in the Vietnamese homeland, and as a result, the Vietnamese fought with intense zeal and fortitude and won. Michael the killer T-cell was not going to give up his home to Kovo without a fight. Kovo leaped in the air and felt a strike to his chin as he flew towards Michael. The uppercut punch struck with great force and left Kovo feeling dazed and in a lot of pain. Kovo was knocked out. Michael the killer T-cell stood over him and aimed his knife towards Kovo's heart. He raised his arm. "Say goodnight, motherfucker," Michael said. But just when he was about to plunge the knife into Kovo's heart, he felt a sharp pain through his back. He looked down and saw coming out of his stomach the knife-like arm of Kova. "Don't ever fuck with my brother or my family, you bitch," Kova said in an angry, wrathful, whisper-like tone behind Kovo. "I eat killer T-cells like you for breakfast." Michael dropped the knife and exclaimed, "Human! I failed you!" He let out a last gasp, and his chin fell to his chest. He was dead. All the lymphocytes in the area had been killed. Kova reached her hand down to Kovo's to lift him up. "Thanks, sis," Kovo said. "Don't mention it," said Kova. "You're my little brother, and I love you more than anything. I'll always be there for you." Kova and Kovita handled the lymphocytes like it was nothing. To them, killing the antibodies was even easier than it was for Kovo and Kova. Now this is where the story gets interesting.